Let us remember that we're in the holy presence of a loving God. And I think it's important today to pray for you guys, for your continued resilience and patience, to stay at home and stay safe, even though it can be boring and it can be difficult. But to think of not only yourself but about everybody else who you're keeping safe by staying home. Do you guys have any intentions?
For those who have the virus.
Yeah, for people who are sick, yep. Okay, if there are no others, St. John Baptist de La Salle, pray for us. Lord Jesus in our hearts forever. All right, so on Wednesday, I put up a video for you guys to watch on direct object pronouns. Did we learn anything from it, or was it too tough, or what are we thinking about it?
I liked that one.
You liked that one?
Yeah.
Easier than the other stuff we were doing.
Yeah, well, we're taking a break from the preterite and the imperfect just because this is the next topic in the book, but sometimes if something is too complicated, it's good to take a break and go back later.
Yeah.
So I thought direct object pronouns they can get more complicated as you go on, but they're kind of easy to look at right away. All right, so we are going to take some more formal style notes on those. So if you need to go get a notebook, please go grab that right now and get ready to do that with me. Okay, and here we go. All right, hoy es el 3 de abril de 2020. And our topic today is los pronombres directos, which in English is direct object pronouns. So I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but when I was learning Spanish and then later Italian, I feel like I learned most of my grammar in my foreign language classes. I learned more about like parts of speech and how speech works through foreign language than I ever learned in English class. So we're going to be looking really at just grammar today. And before we can talk about how direct object pronouns are used, we have to make sure we know what they are. So, a direct object is the thing receiving the action in a sentence. So in sentences, there's always a subject and a verb. That's what makes a statement a sentence. Having a person doing something makes it a sentence. Sometimes that's all there is. Like you can say like, I ate, and that's a sentence. But you can add other things. I ate a sandwich. I is the subject, ate is the verb, and the sandwich is the thing receiving the action. So that's the direct object. Okay. The example that we're going to look at first today is I throw the ball. So in this sentence, I throw the ball. What's the direct object?
The ball.
The ball. Yeah, it helps because I already bolded it. The ball. Who's the subject?
I.
And the action?
Throw.
Throw. Perfect. So I throw the ball is a sentence with a subject, a verb, and a direct object. In Spanish, it looks like this. Yo tiro la pelota. Yo tiro la pelota. La pelota, what can we tell just by looking at that word? What can we tell about it?
Feminine and it's singular.
It's feminine and it's singular. Perfect. It's feminine and it's singular. I'm throwing one thing and that thing happens to be a feminine object.
Yeah, I agree too that like Spanish is like so much more important to learn like grammar and all those rules because I feel like in English we just kind of like ignore them.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And sometimes, at least for me, when I have rules, I can apply them, it's easier for me to learn something. So I try to teach the way that I learn. I don't know if that helps you guys. All right. Many times the direct object in a sentence can be replaced by a direct object pronoun. And I'm going to abbreviate that as a DOP. So we usually replace direct objects with a direct object pronoun just to make our statements less repetitive. So going back to my other example, I ate a sandwich. I ate a sandwich. The sandwich was good. The sandwich had ham and cheese. The sandwich was on wheat bread. I ate the sandwich by myself. I said sandwich way too many times. What could I say after the first time?
It.
It, right. So it is a direct object pronoun, and it's used to make things less repetitive. I ate a sandwich. It was good. It had ham and cheese. It was on wheat bread, and I ate it alone, right? It still sounds simple because we don't know how to say too much in Spanish yet, but it sounds less repetitive than before. So it does sound more fluid, more like we actually know what we're talking about. So, oops. Oh my God. Well, I'm wrecking that. Here we go. All right. I throw the ball. You catch the ball. You throw the ball. I drop the ball. In every sentence, we have the same direct object. What is it?
The ball.
The ball. And after the first one, we can just say it. I throw the ball. You catch it. You throw it. I drop it. We can now replace it with it because we know that the object is the ball. So once everybody who's in the conversation understands what the object is, we can replace it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. So our direct object pronouns are nice and short. Nice and short. For me, anyone know what we have?
May.
May. Yep. For tu,
Te.
te. And this you is one that you would use to talk to a friend or someone that you know really well or someone younger than you, as compared with this you, which is used for people who are older than you or that you don't know well. This one can be more complicated. I'm going to show you guys all this at once and then we're going to go through it. All right. So I broke this up a few different ways, and I did the same thing in the video, but it was with arrows, and I wasn't sure if everybody got it. So this first you we had was for a friend. The second you down here
Is formal.
is formal, right? If you are speaking to a man and you were going to say you, and you were going to use the direct object pronoun, you would say lo, because he's masculine. If you were speaking to a woman, you would use la, because she's feminine. The same thing happens with him and her, lo and la. And then we have it. And when would we use lo and when would we use la?
Depending on the word.
So for like la pelota,
Use la.
but for like el sandwich,
Low.
exactly.
So when you say like mi hermano, is that, I always mix this up. Is it M-I or M-E? Is it still M-E?
For to belong to me, that's mi.
Okay.
My is
That one's
mi.
I'm gonna mix it up, but
No worries.
okay.
These ones should be familiar because they look just like reflexive pronouns. The top four look just like reflexive pronouns, and the bottom ones don't. So nos and os should look familiar. And then for all of you, which would compare with ustedes, or for them, which would be either el or ellos or lots of its, sorry, ellos or ellas or lots of its, we have the same rationale. If you're talking to a group of men or a group of men and women together, you would use los. If it was all women, you would use las. If you're talking about a group of people or things that are masculine, you'd use los. People or things that are feminine, you'd use las. Any questions so far? Seems okay. Okay. So here's a quick example. Yo tiro la pelota, tú coges la pelota. Tiro means throw, and coges means catch. I throw the ball, and you catch the ball. We're going to replace the ball in the second sentence with a direct object pronoun so it sounds less repetitive, okay? So when we do that, it looks like yo tiro la pelota and tú la coges. So when we replace the direct object with a pronoun, it moves from behind the verb to in front of the verb. From behind the conjugated verb to in front of the conjugated verb. So our word order in Spanish is different from our word order in English. Okay. And we should talk about the placement of these words. So there are actually different places in a sentence where direct object pronouns can go. Does anyone remember from the video, I know it was a couple of days ago, but how many different places it can go?
4.
Close. It can go in 3 different places. So the first one is in front of a conjugated verb, like in this sentence here. I read the book and you read it too. Yo leo el libro y tú lo lees también. This lo is referring to the book. And we're moving it from after our conjugated verb to in front of our conjugated verb because it's a different type of word. Okay. There's 2 more places it can go. We can attach it directly to the end of an infinitive verb. And just as a reminder, infinitive verbs end in AR, ER, or IR. They haven't been changed yet. So like leo and lees are conjugated, but the infinitive verb would be leer. So we have, I am going to read the book and you're going to read it too. Yo voy a leer el libro y tú vas a leerlo también. So we can attach our direct object pronoun right to the end of an infinitive verb. But in this example, it can go someplace else too. Does anyone know where that lo could move? I heard somebody talk, but I couldn't tell what you said.
It'd be Voss.
Where?
Like right after the Voss.
Not after the vas, no.
Oh.
It would have to go in front of the vas. It has to go either attached to an infinitive verb or in front of a conjugated verb. So since vas is conjugated, we can move it. So good idea with the other verb. We can move it to in front of that verb. Tú lo vas a leer también. Tú vas a leerlo and tú lo vas a leer mean exactly the same thing. It's just that Spanish has more flexibility than English does in terms of where you can put words. So they have 2 different places that word can go. There's one more place that we can put our direct object pronouns.
Attached to the end of a gerund.
Attached to the end of the gerund. And how do gerunds end, Rafe? Do you remember? 2 ways.
It was like ando and yendo.
Exactly, yeah. So attached to the end of a gerund, and gerunds look like ando and yendo at the end of those. So I'm sticking with the same example. I'm just changing it a little bit. I am reading the book and you're reading it too. Tú estás leyéndolo también. There's one more place in that sentence where the lo can go. Where can it go?
Before estás.
Before estás, perfect. Yep, because estás is conjugated, so it can go there too. Yo estoy leyendo el libro, tú lo estás leyendo también. Okay. when it comes to attaching it or putting it in front of a conjugated verb, you can choose whichever one you like. So if it's easier for you to just say, I'm always going to put it in front of the conjugated verb because it can always go there, fine. If you like attaching it because it sounds more like English with read it and reading it, then that's fine too. Whichever you prefer, because they mean the same thing. And you don't need to pick one. You can use them whenever you feel like you want to switch it up. I will tell you that putting it in front of the verb is more typical for a lot of Latin American speakers. So if you hear someone speaking Spanish around here, you're probably going to hear it further up in the sentence. I don't know if that matters to anybody, but if you hear it, it might sound different than how you would write it or say it. Are there any questions on this? Any confusion about this topic? Okay, I'm gonna take no news as good news because I'm not hearing anything at all. So I'm gonna put these notes online. I'm gonna put this video online. The other video that from Wednesday is gonna stay up there. And you guys are gonna have one short assignment today. If you need any help, you can email me. And if you have any missing work, I need it by the end of today, and we can call that the actual end of the day, like midnight. But the sooner the better. Okay. So if there are no questions, we're gonna end. And I'm gonna say adios.
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 Adios.